What up, my man in society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed. It doesn't cost a damn thing. Join the madness. Now, what I wanted to get into was actually a video I had dropped, not that long ago, right, about the Mr. McMahon thing, right? And somebody had gotten to me in my email, right? And apparently they had said that they had shot me a clipping, right, of Andrew Tate. I don't know it wasn't from YouTube. It was from like some other kind of website, right? But where Andrew Tate is giving his overall breakdown on the Mr. McMahon scandal and stuff like that, right? And the subscriber said that, what do I think about his take? Because that, he felt that what Andrew Tate was saying was legit. It was solid. It was facts, right? Now, although Andrew Tate, like I said, he makes points. He makes good points, right? On the video I had, discussed about him, I had said that in the video, right, where the individual makes good points. But just because you make a good point doesn't mean that you're right, and it doesn't mean that you're an overall good person. See, Andrew Tate's mistake on the Mr. McMahon scandal, right, was that he homed in on the girl, right? Because obviously, his hatred towards women and, all the bullcrap he likes to, speak on them, right? So he focused too much about her, right? When he fails to realize the problem in general, right? Overall. Now, my opinion on the Vince McMahon scandal. Even though Mr. McMahon was doing some sick, devious, disgusting behavior and, the individual's cuckoo, it's not against the law, right? To have your whatever the hell you're into, right? I mean, it's your life, right? Now, the sex trafficking, part, it gets a little sticky, right? Because I truly don't believe that it's sex trafficking, right? Because the reason I just don't believe that it's sex trafficking is that she never felt she was victimized until he stopped paying the money, right? When he was paying the money, she was fine and dandy with everything being the way that it was, right? But when he didn't come through with the rest of the money, then that's when she all of a sudden felt the trauma and felt the how can I say, the pain of everything. And, her world now came crashing down as soon as he stopped paying the money. All of a sudden, all of those factors played in to, her, falling through with what she did, right? Instead of, going to seeking therapy and stuff like that, right? She went straight to a lawyer for the lawsuit thing, right? She focused in more on the money, right? So that's why I don't believe that it was sex trafficking, right? I don't believe that she should be, paid anything for that matter, right? But now, I don't believe that, Mr. McMahon should pay her money. Doesn't change the fact that Mr. McMahon is a sick, twisted individual and what he was doing was wrong. Why was he doing why is it wrong about what he was doing, right? If she was down with it, if she was cool with it, then what's the problem? The problem is that he was literally prostituting her off to other men. That's the problem. You just can't do that. Even if it's your wife, right? And now you're selling your wife to other people in order to make financial moves or business moves. It's against the law. You're not allowed to do that, bro. You're not allowed to prostitute people. If that would be the case, then people would be able to prostitute, whichever woman, and there would be no problem. Pimps wouldn't be locked up, and, prostitutes would be able to walk around the streets fine and dandy. But they don't, because it's against the law. Right? So that's why Mr. McMahon should go to jail, and that's what the scandal should really be revolving around. Not the emotional distress that woman suffered because she was driving to those locations knowing damn well what was going to happen. She was aware ahead of time before, she was getting to those locations and shit was happening. She drove knowing damn well that this was going to take place. Now, you can say it was him using her job against her and stuff like that, right? But if we're talking about this emotional distress that she just can't be able to comprehend and cope with and handle, then that shouldn't have played a factor, right? Why did it now play a role in, as soon as the money stopped coming in? You get what I'm saying? If it was so overwhelming and the shame and everything, then from the gate she would have came out and said it, right? Because look, when I get when people say that you get an emotion, what is it called when the kidnapper kidnaps a person and then they hold this attachment, right? They created this attachment. I am aware, right? But they were being held against their will, and they groomed them now to see things this way, right? She was never held against her will. She was never a child. She was a full-blown adult. Compared to when they take a child and groom the child to now see this individual like that, right? Or threaten them to kill them and stuff like that. Like when we're talking about abusive husbands beating their wives and why their wives don't leave them, right? Because of the fear of it, right? But Mr. McMahon wasn't, physically harming the person to create those factors. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I just don't buy into that whole thing, right? I believe that she was down for whatever as long as she was getting paid. It was her way of, getting money, right? Her way of just making life work. Like I said, I'm not gonna judge her on that. You know what I mean? I mean, it's her life. She can live it however the fuck she chooses. But here in America, when we're talking about exchanging sex for business moves, it's against the law. You just can't do that. And that's why company's getting removed. Why he was kicked down. Why he stepped down. Why everything is happening the way it's happening. But see, Andrew Tate didn't even bother to even focus in on none of that. All he was concerned about is this woman is lying, and Mr. McMahon didn't do nothing. The man's always getting blamed. We could never win, because if he was to let her, he's not treating her fair. But if now he's applying rules, he's abusing her. So it's like it's a lose-lose for a man all the time. See, here's the thing, Andrew Tate, that you failed to realize is that Mr. McMahon knew that this was against the law. He knows the law. He knows how it works. I mean, he's a billionaire. He's running one of the biggest companies out there when it comes to wrestling, if not the biggest in wrestling. He knows how these laws work. He knows what he was doing was against the law. That's why he was doing it secretly. That's why he paid hush money. He knew what he was doing wasn't right. Right? Because you just can't prostitute people to make business moves. You can't, provide people with sex in order to, bait them in or whatever. And the fact that he was doing it with his own daughter too, I don't know if it's true or not, but Stephanie McMahon did say that one angle, like, remember when you used to make me go on dates with your business partners and they told me what you said I had to do with them, and I did it because I wanted to please you. Who knows if that story angle, how much truth there is? Because now looking back at it, I don't know, bro. I mean, there could have been some truth to that, bro. I mean, I put nothing past Mr. McMahon, bro. Seriously, I don't. But besides the fact that Vince McMahon knew that this was against the law, right? So he was aware of this, but yet he still did it. So therefore he should be punished, right? But besides that, right? The fact that he even thought of doing it or tried to do it with multiple women, even though not all of them were down like this one was, right? Apparently he bagged himself one that was willing to roll with the punches, right? But, the fact that he's trying this with other women, he shouldn't be in a workplace, bro. He is a predator. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe these other ones, he wasn't able to groom them like that, but the fact that he even tried to throw himself on them and force them or, without their consent, he's a terrible individual and he shouldn't be in a workplace. And I could understand why people want to distance himself from him. When people say, what did he do wrong? I mean, she was down with it or whatever. The fact that he tried to do this knowing it was against the law, right? And he didn't know that she was going to be down with it or not, right? But he still attempted, right? And it just happened that he managed to bag one. That's why I believe she shouldn't get none of the money. And I believe she should be in jail with him, right? Because that's prostitution, right? You know what I mean? But I believe that, Mr. McMahon, he should be punished and should go to jail because, essentially he was a pimp, my boy. He was a pimp, providing this girl, and this guy with sex, he's making the transaction, bro. He's a pimp. If that's the case, anybody would just be able to pimp their wives, and it wouldn't be considered prostitution, right? Now you can have threesomes and shit like that. It's cool and everything like that, but when we're talking about in order to make business moves and transactions happen, it's against the law, my guy. You get what I'm saying? You just can't go to the bank and tell the guy, hey, well, I don't really got money, but can I put my wife and she'll sleep with you and can I get some credit that way? And the fool will be like, yeah, for sure. But they can't because it's against the law, right? So Vince McMahon knew he was breaking the law. So this is what this is around. This is why I have a problem with what he did and why I think, that the individual belongs in jail and why I feel like he was in the wrong. Not because I believe the girl's story and I believe she's a victim and, oh my God, how could they have done this to her, right? Not like he kidnapped her and was forcing her. Like, it's not like he was tricking her. Hey, come over for dinner and we're going to go see a movie. And then when she got there, he's like, psych, we're having a threesome with all these guys and everything like that. She knew what she was going for. It wasn't a problem until the money stopped coming in, right? But like I said, I believe what he was still doing was wrong, because nobody should, be throwing themselves at women like that, or even treating a woman like that, right? For that matter, right? Have some respect and shit like that. But like I said, I believe, he knew what he was doing was wrong, because that's the reason why it had to be in the quiet and the hush, no one finding out, besides his wife finding out, but because he knew he was against the law, bro. And for that, he's a scumbag. And he's just a piece of shit person in general, bro. I mean, let's face it. So don't think that I was siding with the woman and stuff like that. Nah, I'm siding on what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. In this case, Mr. McMahon is in the wrong for this and this reason. Not because I fall for that victim story. Because what he was doing was legitimately against the law. But what do you guys think? Leave your opinions in the comments. I'm just saying shit. Shadow. Yeah.